I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, please go to the book of Matthew, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 13th lesson in our study of Matthew. On Saturday, we studied Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 to 17, discussing the beginning of Jesus' ministry. If you missed that episode, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on multiple platforms by going to one of the different sites listed on the bottom of the screen. Today, we're going to begin with Matthew 4:18 and read through verse 25. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the New King James Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Matthew 4, beginning at verse 18. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. They immediately left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a boat with Zebedee their father, mending their nets. He called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease among the people. Then his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought to him all sick people who were afflicted with various diseases and torments, and those who were demon-possessed, epileptics and paralytics, and he healed them. Great multitudes followed him from Galilee and from Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and beyond the Jordan. In this chapter, we see the beginning of the public ministry of Jesus. He began teaching in Galilee, in northern Israel. But as we'll see later, he will go all over the area, teaching whoever will listen. We will find that even though his hometown is Nazareth, his home base, if you will be Capernaum, a city near the Sea of Galilee. In yesterday's episode, we found that Jesus went about this area teaching that the kingdom of heaven was at hand. We discussed how that meant that for the people of that day, the kingdom was close to coming, and for us, the kingdom has come, citing Colossians 1:13 as proof. As of yet, though, we don't read of Jesus having full-time disciples or followers, the people who would later become the 12 apostles. That changes with today's reading. As Jesus was walking by the seashore, he saw two brothers, Simon, who was also known as Peter, and Andrew, his brother. They were fishermen, and when Jesus found them, they were casting their nets into the sea in order to catch fish. Jesus called out to them and told them to follow him, for he would make them fishers of men. The text says that they immediately followed him. Now that might seem strange to some people, for why would they follow a complete stranger? However, if you read John 1:35-42, you'll find that John the Baptist pointed out Jesus as the Lamb of God to Andrew and Peter before Jesus called on them to follow him. Harmonizing the two Gospels would lead us to conclude that Peter and Andrew knew Jesus as the Messiah, but Jesus didn't call on them to physically leave their nets and follow him until shortly after that meeting. Going on from there, Jesus found two other brothers, James and John, who were in a boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets. Jesus called on them to follow him as well, and they immediately came. The same thing here would apply to James and John that applied to Peter and Andrew. They knew Jesus before he called them, and John 1 would again imply this. That Jesus selected fishermen to be his disciples is very interesting, for we would think that Jesus would want religious scholars to go out and teach, for they would be well respected among the people, and they would seemingly be better equipped to explain the Old Testament prophecies to the people than these fishermen would. Even the elders and scribes later in Acts 4:13 had a problem with uneducated men being teachers that needed to be listened to. Why would Jesus select such men? Because these men were humble enough to actually listen to and follow Jesus. The Pharisees had a problem with pride and self-righteousness, qualities that were stumbling blocks to their obedience to Christ. It's not that Jesus was unwilling to call Pharisees and scribes to be his disciples. It is on the whole that they were unwilling to follow. we see such an attitude with people that we study with today. Often those who properly submit to Christ are those who are less wealthy and not among the religious elite, for they invariably have the mindset to follow only the Bible and not the opinions of men. Getting back to our reading, Jesus then goes out preaching and teaching in the regions of Galilee, healing all kinds of sickness and diseases among the people. Thus Jesus was gaining a reputation not only as a mighty teacher, but as a mighty healer as well, the likes of which people had never seen before. In fact, we find that because of his teaching and miracles, he gathered a great following not only in Galilee, but in all of Palestine. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Matthew, beginning with Matthew 5, verse 1.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have a question or comment, please leave it below or email it to answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, Lord's willing, tomorrow when we will be continuing on our study in the book of Matthew. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor